Hey everybody, Jabman025 here. Today I'm taking a look at the high-grade Meteor unit, which is from the series Mobile Suit Gundam Seed and Seed Destiny. This is a mobile weapons platform for the Freedom and Justice, later the Strike Freedom and Infinite Justice. This is a limited edition version of this kit, which is a little more closely matched to the real grade Justice and Freedom. I always liked the Meteor unit, and when they announced this, I decided to pick it up. Now, first thing I want to point out is there is a lot of detail painting needed on this kit. It may be matched to the real grade Freedom and Justice, but it's still a high grade, so there's a lot of detail work needed. And on a kit this huge, that's a lot of detail work. I can really get a sense, yeah, this is going to be a big kit. You can see the first piece you work on is already bigger than your average master grade. Detail painting, like I said, those gray sections, the missiles, the vents, all over the place there's detail painting to do. I tried to use some sky gray to kind of match those latches on top of those missiles. Just flip them open, you can see the missiles inside. Everything in there, that's all me painting. It just came plain white, or light gray if you prefer. But I tried to, when I repainted the vents, I tried to match them to that light gray. Some black on the back side. More vents, just lots of detail painting. Also a good deal of lining on this kit. This is a piece for the center section. See, it does have this kind of neat digital camo look going here. This wasn't me, this is how it came right out of the box. It's here, and then there are on several other parts on this kit, and it is kind of neat. It's kind of a different thing you don't see in a lot of kits. You can see this latch system. This is part of the transformation, or if you want to call it that. Basically just flips open so the Freedom and Justice connect in there. You got two gigantic ball joints, which are going to connect on the arms. And you got this sliding and swivel system, so you get lots and lots of movement out of that. No real problems there. And basically what you're going to do is you're going to take this and just flip it over. And it locks right into place with a super strong connection. Maybe a little too strong because it is difficult to take apart later, but not too bad. And then another part just goes right on top. Now for these big old giant engines here, that's all me. It comes just plain, the dark gray, the silver, the black, that's all my painting. You have these vents on the sides here, that's all painting too. A lot of panel lining to do. You get these vents here on the back. They actually give you stickers for these, which don't look very good. And you got vents on the bottom, same deal. They give you stickers for those, and it doesn't look good there either. So I went ahead and repainted them. But yeah, detail painting. Truthfully, you don't got to do a whole lot of detail painting on different parts. The problem is the parts you do are friggin' huge, so it takes a little while to paint them. On the back engine here, get these two vents on either side. They swivel, and move them where you please. The ones on the inside obviously don't go anywhere because there's nowhere to go. More vents on the back to paint. And like I said, a good deal of lining. Not a ton really, but again, the lines that are there are pretty big, so it takes a little bit. Now this is when I busted out the stand, just basically because it was getting too big and too awkward to work with, so made the stand, simple little two-parter, slaps into place there, super strong connection, and no, I'm not quite brave enough to turn it upside down. I kind of think it would hold, but I'm not that brave. Now, cannons, you have these on the side here. Complete swivel, you can turn them 360 anywhere you want. More detail painting, vent on the back, vent on the side, and a camera on the front. And I went ahead and painted the end of these guns silver because I thought it would look cool. That's only the real reason. The engines on the back, I painted the interior dark gray, along with the inside of those flaps. The whole thing comes purple, and I thought an inside of an engine won't be purple. So I went ahead and repainted that. Went ahead and repainted the flaps, again, because I thought it would look neat. And it just, kind of matches the inside of the engine better. Speaking of flaps, you got these two giant ones as well. This was a little more difficult to paint, just because it's a little more difficult to see where the one side ends and the other side begins, so it took me a couple tries to get that right. They're on swivels as well. You get a little wider opening, so you can act like it's, thrusting forward or something like that. Looks good. And again, gives more length to this kit, which is getting longer by the second. Next up, the engines. The engines come as a dark gray, but I went ahead and repainted them into a chrome silver and a titanium silver, two-color scheme. I thought it looked better, especially since I did all that dark gray. I didn't want even more dark gray in there. And besides, it has a little more flair to it. And we're starting to come together. Now the next part was probably the most difficult detail painting. The missile pod here. Get the entire thing dark gray. It just comes white, so I painted the whole thing dark gray, then pointed the individual missile pods in a sky gray, and then the individual missiles in a red. So that took some time. Like I said, that is a fairly big piece, as is everything with this kit, so it took a little bit of time to get it just right, but I think it turned out really well. Next, we have the arms. Guess what? Or detail painting. You got these 3 vents on either side of the arm. They all come white. Ergo, that's more painting. Sky gray, dark gray. You have these purple pieces here. They actually give you stickers for those. I went ahead and repainted them, and I made it a little bit darker than the standard purple. Again, trying to get that real grade look. You have, guess what? Another missile pod here on the arm. Simple little latch opens up. I painted the latch silver just because I thought it looked neat. Dark gray, sky gray, and red for the missiles. Again, difficult painting, but I think it looks better. Put some silver in the front of the gun and the camera up there. And then added some clear red and some clear blue. They do give you the sticker for the blue part up there, but not for the red. That was my own personal preference. But I think it looks a little better this way. Now I have the arms forward, which technically isn't the way it's supposed to be right now, but I kept that open for a reason. I'll show you it in a second. I went in and painted this section here on the front in a sky gray, again trying to get that real gray look, a two-tone look. But on a kit this big, there's only so much two-tone you can do. But again, I liked it. That's why I did it. Because I thought it would look cool is a perfectly valid reason for doing a custom job on a kit. Now, this is the limited edition kit, which means you get something you usually don't get with the standard. In the standard, you get a high-grade freedom to play with. You don't get that here. Instead, you get this, a giant sheet of decals, which kind of match the decals that came on the Real Grade Justice and the Real Grade Freedom. And it really does look a lot better with these decals on there. It's such a big, blocky thing. The decals really liven it up. There are a lot of decals, and they are cut very well. They don't have to be cut that perfectly because this kit is so massive. But it will take you some time to get them all lined up just perfectly. I decided to make this Meteor Unit 2, which technically means it belongs to the Justice. Granted, there's no real rule that says the Justice has to use it and Freedom can't, but Justice is designated as 102, ergo Meteor 2 is for the Justice. But like I said, there's no rule. Now I have the arms back and hooked into place so it's in weapon mode. This is the way it would be attached if it was on the Eternal itself. And looks pretty good. If you want to display it like this, actually it would look really, really good. But let's be honest. If you're getting the Meteor, you're using it for one purpose. This. You're going to connect in this case, the Real Grade Justice. Flip those 2 latches, one goes underneath, one goes on top. You're going to move that little piece I showed you at the beginning there, and you're going to move those arms forward and to the front, and you're going to extend them out a little bit. The backpack fits just fine. I always worried it was kind of awkward. I thought there'd be some big fancy connection, but not really. There's just 2 little latches that hook underneath the armpits, for lack of a better term, underneath the Justice, and it holds it in place. The backpack also helps with that. There are 2 handles that pop out that will move into the hand. They aren't really holding them, just kind of gives the illusion, but looks good. But there's nothing really connecting them, so to speak. But again, looks good. And you got these big old arms coming out. And this kit is getting just insanely huge, if it wasn't already. Now, open up all the missile pods on either side, the one on each gun, and the one on the back. Beam rifles, missile pods, all sorts of craziness. If someone is staring down the barrel of all these guns, you're about to have a very bad day. Freedom, like I said, you can connect him in if you want, even if you do designate it Unit 2 or 1, it really doesn't matter. Just move the wings back, slide them right in place, those hooks hook them in there, no problem. But in my personal collection, just because I made it Unit 2, I'm going to use the Justice. Now, accessories. There's only two, but they're doozies. The mother of all beam saber blades. Just ridiculously huge beam saber blades. They're, just over the top ridiculousness. And when I saw them and I felt them, I was like, these are way, way, way too heavy. There's no way that the arms are going to be able to support these things. And you know what? I was right. They're just too heavy. You can see, take your hand away, and slowly go down. And that's the end of that. They're just too ridiculously big and too heavy. They're neat looking, but you're never going to use them just because they're too much. I guess you could put something under to support them. And truthfully, it doesn't look bad like this, but you can see it's just there's a point where it becomes too big and too over the top, and this might be it. Size comparison next to a standard Master Grade RX-78-2 version 2.0. You can see it's not really that tall of a kit, but boy is it wide, and boy is it long. It's a monster. Final thoughts on this kit. I'm giving this kit a thumbs up because I'm very happy with the purchase. This is one of those kits I've always wanted an excuse to build, and when they announced the limited edition, real grade version, if you will, I just always wanted one, so I decided to pick it up. I'm happy with it. I will say this is a collector's kit. Your average high-grade collector or master-grade collector really doesn't need this monster. This is just someone who either really wants a Meteor kit or is a seed completionist. That's pretty much it. If you want one, pick it up, you'll be happy with it. Realize you got to do some work on it. Needs detail painting. Needs some accents. Again, there's decals to work on. That's the only reason you're getting the limited edition. But this is a good kit. If you want one, pick it up. Thumbs up for me, I'm happy with it. This is a beast of a kit, though, and finding shelf space for this thing was not easy. Keep that in mind. Well, gang, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this review. I hope you found it informative. If you got any questions, ask them. I'll answer them as best I can. Please leave a comment. You guys know I love reading them. And stay tuned for more. I always got more reviews coming. Thank you guys, again, for watching these videos, and I'll see you next time. Oh, and, one more thing. You can see the two tiny Meteor kits here on the Eternal. You can kind of get a sense of, if you had a 1/144th Eternal, it'd be the size of my car. Would be fun to drive to work, though, wouldn't it?